Hello, welcome to our third episode where we interview Cecilia Chang, a biochemical researcher. Hope you enjoy.
All right, hello, welcome to the third episode of our podcast. I'm joined with my friend Yaochen, and today we will be asking my grandmother some questions about her livelihood as a top-level researcher in biology.
First, could you tell us some basic information about yourself? Where did you go to school and what was your profession of research?
Okay, you want me to start from my high school or just college? I graduated from the college at Donghai University in Taiwan. After I finished my college, graduation, I went to the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory in Taiwan to study. Actually, it's two new stuff. One is we use the insect culture, cell culture, to study some biochemistry character. I don't quite remember the project now. It's so far away. And another interesting technique that time we tried to develop to clone the single cell. That was very new, and now become the clone the animals. They try to that is start from this clone the single cell, and they use the single cell to develop to do the everything. After 1 year, I stayed there. Then I got a scholarship at Rice University, Houston, Texas. Okay, and I entered as a study in biochemistry. I gained a master degree at 1969. That's my education. Eventually, I go to the working in the biochemistry research laboratory, all this kind of thing. Okay.
So, since when did you develop this interest in biology or chemistry, and what exactly prompted you to find this to be a very interesting subject?
Yeah, actually, my first, I actually first entered the university majors in economics. Was very funny. I really didn't have any interesting about biology. Actually, I'm very good in the math. That's why I selected economics. But sometimes I see the people in the science major, they all wear the lab coat, and I really just even them to wear the lab coat. I think they look so smart. That's the reason I changed my major to the biology department, because at the Donghai University biology department is the best in the science department. I just switched there. And during the time, we have a very good professor. Actually, they're from United States, okay? And they teach the embryology, the major, the subject. That really interested me because I was very interested and intrigued by why the zygote, when, the zygote is single cell, how did they can differentiate in different kind of cell, become different tissue. At the time, I feel this is very interesting, and I think there's a secret of the life. Why? Actually, if now you look in today's science, the modern science, that is the start, the reason for the stem cell research. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So that's the first time I start to feel interesting about the biology and the science. And when I graduated from the college, I applied the scholarship in graduate study in the United States. I wrote an essay, okay, and the essay I point out the reason I want to do a study about the cell culture, because I think that initiated my thinking is because of this. I think this idea was very bright. And that's one of the reasons when I apply all the school in United States, graduate school, they all accepted me. Okay, I think this asset did a great deal, contribution. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, what part of biology and chemistry did you enjoy learning the most?
That this is another interesting story. When I first came to Rice University, of course, I get into the cell biology, you know. And I went to there, and that time, long time ago, which is 1969, I never had a cell biology in Taiwan. And I went to the class. They just turn out the lights. They just show all this slide and all the pharmacology of the cell type, cell pharmacology. And they use the electron microscope at the time. They just started having, and I don't understand anything. And I had a language problem, all the terms I never even heard. Then I feel I'm going to fail. So I quickly switched to the biochemistry major. The reason is biochemistry, in Taiwan, I studied biochemistry, they are much more easy for me to understand in the language or the terms. And that's the reason I get into the biochemistry. Tell the truth, at that young age, we are not smarter than you guys that time, We just follow what we get, We just try to find, we have. If you ask me why, I tell you, just for the convenience, you can say that. And in the biochemistry laboratory, and that is very interesting to me because I have some breakthrough discovery. I remember the time I studied is the carbohydrate enzyme, and I, by chance, I think it's a little by luck, I have some breakthrough. That I'm not quite sure I answer your question, but biology, everything is involved in chemistry. Yeah, that's why you connect them. It's very easy. You need to know the mechanism or the biology phenomena. They relate to chemistry, and you need a very good foundation of the organic chemistry. And my husband is very, very good in that field. I'm not very good. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like biology, in order to truly understand biology, you have to understand the underlying chemistry behind, how cells actually function between each other, right? You have to understand how metabolic pathways work and ultimately kind of how your particular enzymes and these metabolites work in tandem to ultimately create, a physiological response, right? So I guess the next question would be, what was it truly like to study biology and chemistry in college or in graduate school?
In that time, I have to say that time because everything changes so fast. Okay, everything. That time, sorry, I forgot your question. You say what? In the college, we have for biology class such as embryology. Okay, mostly you study the phenomena, outside you can see. But the chemistry, biochemistry, you really see that all the mechanism in the chemistry point of view. Okay, and we have for organic chemistry, you have to really learn that. Okay, chemist, that is two major subject you have to learn: general chemistry, organic chemistry, and that is about. And then the biochemistry, they combine the phenomena underlying the mechanism of the phenomena. You use the chemistry terms to explain. Yeah. And then in the college, in graduate school, you're mainly doing research. That is most important thing. You do have some courses you have to choose, but again, advanced biochemistry. Okay, I don't recall I have any organic chemistry, the basic chemistry course at a graduate school. I think biochemistry and also cell biology try to involve some chemistry. They also have slight chemistry, to explain the underlying mechanism or things like that. That's what I remember, and I don't remember much about the courses. But research is completely different story. You have special project that the advisor usually ask you which one you want to select. Then they try to help you to develop the finish all this. And I'm just very lucky the project that I got and had a small breakthrough. That's why I even went to the national meeting to present my data. Eventually, when I finished master degree, actually my advisor doesn't want me to finish. My advisor wanted me to finish PhD, and they didn't want me graduate from the reason is because my project was going so well, but I didn't continue because several personal reasons, because Ye is finished his PhD, want to come to the New York City to pursue his postdoctorate. And my mother also came from Taiwan to New York City. That's why it forced me to just quit. I have to go to New York City. And I'm not a very ambitious person. So I decided just to finish master degree and go to to meet my family in New York City. And eventually that project, my master degree, was published in JBC, Journal of the Biological Chemistry. That time is the top journal. Okay, it's a big honor. I'm the first author. Actually, the project eventually continued by the laboratory to have 5 big paper published. Okay, and my advisor eventually became the master of the carbohydrate chemistry in the United States. So I missed a big chance, which is stupid that time,
Yeah.
So my advisor to you guys, if eventually you go to your career or the graduate school, you have to really understand, don't miss this kind of opportunity, okay? Yeah.
So, yeah, our next question would be, what were some challenges you faced as a college student?
In Taiwan, I think mostly in the college, we all use the English version of the book. That is very hard because we actually not very good in English. You can see I'm still spoken broken English. So we have to study very hard and try to understand what textbook says. Besides that, is the terminology or the science terminology is very hard for us to memorize or do things like that. Okay, and that's why the chemistry all become that is even better because of a lot of formula. You use universal formula. It's not a text. So if you ask me language again, and come to United States again, it's language to me. It's most
Yeah.
Now if I look back, I think it's quite stupid. At that time, it was very hard. That's another reason I didn't continue to pursue my PhD. I was scared. I have no confidence about to continue. The language is the reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess then about the language, obviously, again, with what you were saying with kind of chemical formulas being universal, right?
Yeah.
I think that obviously would have played a major role in probably making chemistry easier than biology, right? Considering biology have a bunch of different names, right? I guess they're probably different in Chinese with much of the enzymes and with English, right?
Right.
And I guess when you actually went forward to do actual professional level research after college and graduate school, what were some of the most challenging kind of topics you had to engage in that were beyond your expectations?
I don't know how to answer the question. Can you speak again? I can't. I don't.
Oh, sure. I guess what are some of the challenges you have to tackle in graduate school in comparison to college?
Of course, the culture shock. Okay, because you move to a foreign country, I don't quite understand the people talking and we just quite isolate. I think this is a social problem. It's most challenging. And otherwise, I think we are not stupid. We can really do better job that time. I think than some of my colleagues and the student. That is the problem. If you ask me, still the language problem. I don't think you guys is going to face that much, but maybe the culture shock is a little bit because they still have a difference. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you? Yeah. Sorry. Do you wanna say something?
I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to also tell you one thing. I think maybe will help you.
Yeah.
In your career later on. After I came to, later on I married, I have 2 children. Then I moved to Rochester, but I still want to finish my PhD degree.
Yeah.
At that time. That time I become more understanding about the life. I still want to be a scholar. Things like that. So after I came to Rochester, I tried to apply for the PhD program at the University of Rochester, and I went to one of the professor. They look at my potential. They think I have a very good chance. They asked me to take a biochemistry course to prove, I still very good, because that time I already left the school for like at least 7 years, so 10 years almost. So I took the biochemistry course. I got a very good. I studied very hard. I only study at night when I take care of my children to the bed, and I get a very good, the grade. So they eventually accept me as a candidate. They only accepted like 5 candidates. They try to select one at graduate school, for the PhD in biochemistry department. They asked me to, at the second time interview, they treat us like a lawyer only. All 5 candidates, they accept, all come very good at school, or young people. When the advisor, I have the second interview, each advisor will interview me alone. They ask me one very important question. They say, what is your purpose? Okay, try to get your advanced degree. I speak very frankly from my heart, which is so stupid. You should never have this kind of, I say, because I already working in the laboratory. Okay, that time I work in the, before I applied for this PhD, I worked at Rockefeller University. I worked at Cornell University. Then I also worked at the Red Cross Research Lab. So I understand. And my husband at the time is working at the NIH. Okay, he also he's very good, much better than me. He had a breakthrough too. So I very frankly tell the advisor, I say the interviewer, actually, I say the reason I already see how difficult this field, the research field it is. So I would like, after I graduate, I would like to collaborate with my husband. I'm going to help him together to do research. Okay. And I think I'm just tell them the reality, what I know. Okay. You know what happened? They didn't eventually select me, give me the chance to go to the PhD. The reason they wrote a letter back to me, they said because I did not have enough ambitions. They don't want the people graduate get a PhD from the school, just want to help another PhD. They want you become the principal investigator or in the research. So never shows. Sometimes you should not speak too frankly about the reality. You have to tell them you have ambitious. You want to do what. Okay, and from their point of view, they think I don't have strong ambitions because besides I have 2 small children I need to care. They don't think that I can achieve more than what they want, to provide a scholarship for me. They want you become famous, later on. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to tell them, your ambition.
Yeah.
Like when I applied for the graduate school in United States, I tell them my big idea. They impressed. That time nobody really think about the zygote, the differentiation is the secret of the life. You understand? My answer say that is the secret of the life. Why they can differentiate? The differentiation is like a stem cell. You understand the research? Yeah. Okay.
Did you end up actually doing research with Yeye, or
yes,
did that not happen?
Yeah, that time we didn't start together work together. I was working at the University of Rochester at the time, and then my Tamin was in the that Genesis Hospital Research Institute is also affiliated with the University of Rochester. Okay, and he is doing his basic research. I'm doing work in the lab, and I have some new technique I learned. Just use the rat hepatocyte. We use the real rat to isolate the liver cell come out, culture the cell, and this technique, and Tommy wants to use, apply his own research, and I told him how to do, and his technician in his laboratory, couldn't do a good job. That's why Yeye started to pursue me to work with him. So he keep in pursuing me, say if you come, we can together publish a paper at the JBC, which is a bigger tempting to me. JBC at that time still is the top journal, scientific journal, which I publish my thesis over there,
Yeah.
So that's why I switched to work with Tom.
Yeah. So, over the many years of conducting novel research, what are some major changes you've noticed within the fields of biology, chemistry, or just biochemistry?
They are really become much more advanced, not even technical wise, all the ideas. Another thing is very interesting, is I don't know if it's good or bad. And because the transaction with the IT, the computer, and it start happening, a lot of people just quickly get all the information from the computer.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the basic research, basic foundation stuff, they don't bother to learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Which this has advantage, also disadvantage. Because a lot of basic foundation stuff will let you really understand the foundation so they can stimulate for the invention. That's what I believe. Yeah. But if you all the information you absorb, the people already give to you. So you left to discover that's what I believe. The initial discover the idea. Okay. But good things is about is today's science, I think if you know how to collect this data, collect this information, and use this information to go another kind of invention, it's an advantage. So, that's the big difference. But still, a lot of basic scientists think we lost the study from the foundation. Like, for instance, the simple example is calculator. A lot of people didn't know how to do use your hand to do the dividing, like things like that, because all this calculation, simple calculation, because you can use the calculator, just punch it, you got. You understand? This is a very simple example to tell you.
Yeah.
The difference. Okay. People didn't know how to do the division by hand now. You understand?
Yeah.
You do you understand the difference? Because they lost, they don't know how. Because they can just push the button, they got data. Okay. You know the difference. I'm just give you a very simple, example.
Yeah.
Hopefully you understand what's the difference.
Yeah, like the technological advancements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so eventually become today the successful scientist is you know how to use the application.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever find yourself like kind of just forgetting like basic fundamental information, and then ultimately that just really messes up your
I think
project?
Again, I tell you, I'm not very good, in the science. I'm more like to become like an artist. I tell you the truth. I'm just accidentally get into the science. But Tamin, my husband, is totally different. He's very scientific oriented person. Okay, so everything if he had a difficulty, he will go to the foundation. Okay, you have to ask them. He had a very, very good foundation. That's why so eventually he got a lot of benefit for his research. So I still think if you guys have chance, try not ignore this basic foundation thing. Just try to get the easy, the shortcut. Today everybody just got a shortcut. Okay.
Yeah. So, if you had one piece of advice to share with young students that want to pursue a biology or chemistry related career, like Harry and I, what would it be? So
I
if you
think
had
one thing
piece
is
of advice.
forecasting. Yeah, first you try to find what things is interesting to you. Okay, if you find this interesting, you just need to focusing, persistence. Okay, and that's what I say. The second thing is if you don't know which field to choose, I think you need to read more and try to have wild vision to see what the world later on, the importance about this field. Okay, I remember, I don't know about today because I haven't really gone into the science so much. I think Ye is still keeping up. I didn't because I become an artist now. So, but I remember several years ago, I heard a Harvard professor mention about the research in future. I'm not quite sure how true today, but I think probably not go too far. He said the important for the research in future that's regeneration. You have to understand regeneration. There's two fields should be very big in future. One is energy regeneration. Okay. Another is bioscience regeneration. Okay. The energy regeneration, I think many they talk about the green energy. Like you use the energy, the sun, recycle, the wind, all this kind of you have to know how to find a new energy. Okay, that is research in future. Another one is bioscience regeneration. It's like stem cell research. You're making new tissue, all these kind of things. Okay, so that's what I will advise. Two things. One is focusing. Okay. Don't give up so quickly. Research in science, you need a tremendously patient. Okay. It's not like a medical doctor. The medical doctor, you get a gravitation right away. When you cure the patient, the patient will be very grateful to you. Okay. Another gravitation from medical doctor is money. Okay. Because you really, but researcher is totally different. Okay. You work hard, you always fail. 10 times maybe you got a little good results. Okay. But it's much more interesting. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't mean, the good doctor, I know you guys probably also eventually will on the crossroad, which one you want to choose, become the doctor or become the researcher. Okay. I know you eventually will face a lot of very good MD students graduated, they chose to become research. Okay. But some of the medical doctor wants to go to research, but they think because they have to have a family, they need more money, they go to the medical doctor. And I remember I went to one of the doctor, my cardiologist. When we talked to each other, they found me, I know a lot about science. And then they say, what did you do? I told him. Then he looked at me. very evenly. He told me, he said, how much I want to be a researcher, but I can't because I need money to, for my family. But I think a medical doctor, if you want to become medical doctor, my point of view is you need to have a loving heart. Okay, the passion for taking care of patient. Okay, that is, if you have this, you will never bore in the become medical doctor because you love to helping people. The second thing you become the good doctor is you have very good judgment because every individual has different condition. You have to judge because all the knowledge you got is from the scientific field to give you this knowledge, right? But you have to use. But on the other hand, I believe surgeon is a different story. Surgeon, today's surgeon was tremendously advanced from my point of view, and this surgeon, really contribute how to, that use a lot of brain to, like, invention.
Yeah.
And they also combine with the bioengineer, of course. Today's science become teamwork. You have to, you always remember, you have to know how the EQ, not just IQ. You know what's mean by EQ, right?
Yeah. So you're
EQ,
more like collaboration.
The human relationship, you have to understand, especially medical doctor. Medical doctor actually is a little bit like a businessman. You have to understand how to treat your patient, how to collaborate with your patient.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need a great EQ. The scientists usually is in a laboratory. When they meet each other, talking, discussion truthfully, they forgot about the EQ. They don't care about I will hurt your feeling. I'm going to just tell the truth. So usually, but still, EQ is very important no matter which field. Just in science laboratory, maybe you need less. Okay, but the medical doctor you need more. Okay.
Would you say your career has been worth all the hard work and all the grinding and all the just studying?
Yeah, I think so. You have to work very hard, especially in the research. And I remember one period, and I working in the last period of my research. I leave the time in the laboratory. I came to the pharmacology department, and they are doing very advanced research. And it's, I think I already write to you. It's the underlying mechanism about the wound healing. And, the site, when you have wound inflammation in your body inside, they have a lot of cytokine, all things that will come to attack you. And how did they, if you have a broken tissue, how they can sew in each other, like a sew, They use fibronectin or bentonectin, that kind of underlying mechanism, which is totally new to me. And I remember every morning, 5 o'clock, I get up with the papers. I study very hard, and try to understand what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah. So you need to really work hard. Okay.
Yeah. So our final question for today's interview would be, is there a moment in your study or in your career that you feel really proud?
I do several times. Yeah, I do. Especially you have a new discovery. Especially you have your idea, and you really apply. Just say, oh, this is my idea. I'm going to do it. And then you got a result. Even a tiny little bit result, you feel so proud of yourself. The interesting things, in the research, is the happiness only lasts like a moment.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you forgot about it. But that joy, nothing you can compare. I just want you to know. But that joy disappeared quickly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks so much for attending our interview. It's been a complete honor to speak with you and further understand your work as a high-level researcher. Thank you very much. And
yes, thank you.
It is my honor, my pleasure too. You guys all had a bright future. Work hard, concentrate, forecasting, and curiosity. Always had curiosity. Question, okay?
Yes, sure.
Good luck to you guys.
Sure.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for listening to this episode of our podcast with this very special guest. We hope you've enjoyed it and learned more about the intricacies of research. Next week, we will be interviewing Dr. Holden, who is an experienced IB and AP biology teacher with substantial experience as a pharmaceutical and neurobiology researcher.